looks like we're on now. Hopefully we're live. If you are here and you can see me, I'd love to know. Otherwise, I'm going to have to check here before we dive into what we're doing today. So, let's see here. Looking at our channel, it says we're live, so woohoo for that. All right, if you're in the chat, say hey, say hi, say whatever. Okay. Today, we're making chicken crust pizza. This is a new one for me. This is something I've never tried. We're going to see if it's a treat or if it's trash. So, for those of us who are gluten-free, got it. Another fly in here. Every single day. Something about our back porch. It just draws flies. I don't know what it is. But anyway, okay, so the recipe that I saw calls for 10 ounces of chicken, and the cans of chicken that I have are 12 and a half. So we're going to adjust just a little bit. One of the things we're going to adjust is it says to dry out the chicken as much as you possibly can. We're not going to do that because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this into the oven and dry it out in the oven. So I let it drain for about a half an hour. So we're going to spread that out on a piece of paper here. Or a piece of parchment paper, sorry. And then, which makes some sense, because when I was looking at the recipe, I'm like, that would be very, very wet. So we're going to spread this out. We're going to dry it out in the oven for about 10 minutes. And then we'll get back to it. So, okay, there you go. Now we're going to pop that in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes. So we're going to do 375. If you've been around a while, you know why. If not, it's because this thing cooks low. Down to bake, we're going to go 375 for, we'll go 11 minutes. All right. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. In the meantime, we are going to prep for the rest of it, which is 1 egg, hey, no shells, woohoo! And then we also need, for 10 ounces, we need 1 ounce of, it says grated Parmesan. I don't have any of the freshly grated Parmesan, so we're going with the green top can. Okay, it would help if I didn't do that. Okay, hang on. Got to turn it on. So that's just a little over an ounce. So that's what we're doing. Hey, Joan. How you doing today? I've already got my canned chicken in the oven to dry it out a bit. I'm getting some of, while I much prefer the regularly grated Parmesan, I don't have any of that. So I'm using the stuff in the can, which I keep around for several kind of things that we do. My husband uses it when he makes his spaghetti sauce, mostly. But so those things are going to sit over there. And while that's cooking, I am going to, for toppings, I'm going to use some turkey pepperoni and some olives. That's going to be my toppings of choice today. So for my side, my husband, it'll just be pepperoni for him. He's not a big fan of olives. So could have gone hog wild, but I didn't want to go too crazy just because of not knowing what this crust is going to be. So I don't want to waste a lot of toppings, if you will. So I'm not a huge fan of pepperoni. I may just make mine olives, to be honest, and put pepperoni on his side. So, but I'm going to grab a couple extra because I'm going to have a snack. These are my favorite olives. This version. It doesn't have to be the Mazzetta brand, but the Castle of Otranto. They've got a great texture. They're not overly salty, and they've got like almost a buttery taste to them. So grab a knife here. Normally with this meal, I would have a nice little salad too to go with it, but salads are not, they're not on the menu right now. Ohio has had more than their share of Cyclospora, so we're just gonna stay away from from the lettuces right now. What we're being told though is it's really from mass manufacturers, so the local farmers markets and things like that are safe, which is good to know. But I'm not buying anything from Taylor Farms for a while, which makes me sad because we used to buy a big bag of their salad every single week. That was my absolute favorite thing to do in the summer, just have a big old bag. Those bags were about $5, so we always thought, even if we each only had one salad out of it, you can't get one salad anymore at a restaurant for $5. So, yeah, they do. They have, Mazzetta has really good olives. They're my favorite. I grew up thinking I didn't like olives, but once again, it was because instead of having a pimento in them, they had a red pepper. Not cool, man, not cool. So that will be, it's 8 to 10 ounce, 8 to 10 inch wide, and mine will actually be in a rectangle. That's the size this dough is supposed to make, so we'll see how that goes. But then I'm also just using a local pizza sauce. Again, if who would want to take the chance, right, Joan? Some people would, some people don't care, and that's fine. I think being gluten-free has actually caused part of me not wanting to do things like that, because if I get glutened, my stomach is a mess. So, and it takes about 3 days for it to go away. I think I got glutened when I was out of town because my stomach was kind of a mess for a few days, but it must not have been too much because I was able to clear it again in about 3 days and just ate really clean for those 3 days. So, which is not a huge surprise. I ate at the Mexican restaurant. I ate the chips. They have other things that they fry, and I'm sure in their oil, I didn't ask if it was dedicated, but a dedicated fryer, which I'm sure it wasn't. But anyway, so this is some of the basil I had from yesterday. I still had it wrapped in like a moist paper towel. So I'm giving that a chop up. I'm gonna put that with my sauce. And again, that'll go on my side of the pizza because Hubs, that's not his favorite thing. So, actually, I think I might get some banana peppers out for him. He'll like that. So, if I've got any, I'm gonna go check and see if I've got any in the refrigerator. He likes spicy. So we do our best to compromise on things. Okay, I do still have some. Okay, so I'll pull something out of the fridge here also that I'll be using here a little bit. So this will be for him. If he had, if we had jalapenos, I would do that for him to go away. Stinking little bug. I do not like flies. They gross me out. Spiders I will rehome. Flies, you're not going to make it out of my house alive if I can. I shouldn't say that. A lot of times they'll be on the back door and I just shoo them out. So I don't kill them if they're on the back door. I just let them out. But okay, so I'm gonna pull some of these out for him. Give him something a little interesting, if you will. So I think, Joan, did you say one of your favorite things on a pizza is mushrooms? Is that correct? Do I remember that properly? Oh. So IT guy is not going to be with us for a couple more weeks. He's going to be helping take care of his brother's dog for a little bit longer. We worked that out yesterday. Which in some ways is good news. But Clint, I am not Julia Childs, that's for sure. I am just a home cook who shares what I know, and today we're doing an experiment to see. I've got canned chicken that I'm drying out right now in the oven, and we're making a chicken crust pizza with canned chicken. It's supposed to be pretty good. We'll see if they were right about that. So while we're waiting for that to happen, I am, that's what I thought. You're a mushroom gal. I've got some olives for me. I've got some basil for me. My husband likes it a little spicier, so we're going to do some banana peppers for him. And then, can't decide on the pepperoni yet. I don't mind it. It's not super spicy. And it's also turkey pepperoni, so it's lower in fat. Since I got to have blood work done in about a week and a half, I'm being more careful than usual. Lots of veggies, as much fiber as I can think about, and trying to stay away from too much garbage food. So we'll see. I'm more concerned with the triglycerides than anything else, and that because they're going to want to go for another medication, and I am not a huge fan of medication. Not because I don't believe in it. I would say, I've always said I have a love-hate relationship with pharmaceuticals, because pharmaceuticals literally keeps my family alive. My husband's type 1 diabetic. My son has a pituitary disorder. Without pharmaceuticals, they would not be here. But that being said, my body doesn't respond well, generally, to pharmaceuticals. I gained 12 pounds the day my youngest child was born, all from pharmaceuticals. So I had an emergency C-section. So, there you go. Yes, canned chicken is like canned tuna. Wow, I didn't think about that somebody might not know what canned chicken was. Yep, comes in a tin just like this, and it's in water, and so I drained that out. This is extra lean, so it's only got 1 gram of fat, no saturated fat in it, so it's a nice protein boost without adding a bunch of fat. And since I'm gluten free, I don't use a regular one anyway. So this is about done. I don't use a regular pizza crust. Sorry, I wasn't being clear about that. So just thought we would have this fun experiment that is gluten-free, and I am going to take that chicken off of the pan, and I'm going to stir it into this bowl to get it off the pan so it can cool enough that I can mix it with the egg and the cheese. So get that out of there. Okay. Hot. There for a second. I'm going to turn on my fan before it gets too hot in here and I start sweating. All of our little hacks. So there you go. See, he's that way. My husband can eat just about anything on pizza. So he is always happy to eat just about anything, which works out really well for him because, like, at work they always order a couple of veggie pizzas and he's like, it's great for the vegetarians, but it's always what's left over, and he goes, and I don't mind it, so there's always pizza for him. So I just don't want to cook the egg, so I want to get this cool enough that it's not going to cook an egg. So yeah, if anybody else is out there, tell me, what's your favorite thing to have on pizza? Are you a purist? Do you just like a margarita pizza, which I do love? Or what do you like on your pizza? Anything controversial? I have a son who likes pineapple on his pizza. Yes, he does. My dad used to love ham and pineapple on his pizza. Sometimes, like, Joan, I know you love mushrooms, and sometimes I've had them where I really like them, and sometimes I just don't. But I love a margarita pizza. I figure when I go somewhere where I've never eaten a pizza before, especially if I'm getting a gluten-free crust, I usually go really, really simple. But anybody like anchovies on their pizza? Now here's a little controversial thing about anchovies. I like them if they're used well. That's the thing. I've had them where they're overdone, like there's too much in there, and then it just kind of overpowers the dish. Yeah, I think that's cooled down enough. It's not gonna cook the egg, let's put it that way. So then we're gonna mix that back up. Okay. Now I'm going to mix that. Mixy, as they say. Ham and cheese and sausage. Nice. That's a good one. Yeah, I have two sons that like, their favorite is, now I have a son that would be right with you, Joan. He loves mushrooms and stuff like that. That's one of his favorites. Two of mine like sausage and bacon. That's their favorite toppings. We've been getting that for years. My granddaughter is a pepperoni kid. My grandson will eat pepperoni, but he prefers cheese, at least from what I've seen. He's 3, so he knows what he doesn't like. He can't always tell you what he does. But he will tell you what he doesn't like for sure. So I saw bananas on a pizza once, and I was like, okay, I think you've definitely gone too far. And you know, as far as the pineapple goes, like the first time I heard that was like Hawaiians like it. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. They eat a lot of pineapple, so they have pineapple with just about everything. So I give them a pass. If it's something that's like regional, because yes, we have a couple things regionally that are that I've had on a pizza. One of them is Skyline Chili. If you've not heard of it, Cincinnati chili. It's Greek chili. I've had a skyline type of pizza. I've also had, let's see. I've also had Gouda on a pizza with different sauces, not with a tomato sauce. So the sauces change because of the tenor of that. I'm pretty much a purist though, like I said. I'd rather have just a regular old pizza. Now, I'm really grateful that a lot of the chains around here have a pizza bowl. So it's crustless. And then you just pick your sauce and you pick your cheese. Go away. He's going to die when I'm done. I forgot to do the sink full of water that I normally do. If you hear a crash, it's because everything kind of fell over. It's all in this isn't going to be very big. Like I said, if it were normal time, I would be making a nice big salad to go with this. So I'm gonna make this. It suggests using a rolling pin, but I'm gonna be able to smash it out pretty flat and very thin. So anyway. Roll talk. Hello, welcome in. Wow, that's interesting, Jason. Chocolate chips under your pizza. That's what I like chocolate, but I'm not sure about that one. I think that's a little beyond me. That's wild. So, by the way, if you're not subscribed, we'd love it if you would join us. We're going to be doing some subscriber-only content here in the next little bit, letting you guys help us pick what we're going to cook. I do have a few things I have to clean up first. I've got an old podcast that is hanging out, and I don't want to lose those, and there's copyright strikes on them. Not because I stole anything, just letting you know. It's because I forgot to put the documentation on there properly, but I have it. I just need to do it, get it done. So it's just something I have to take care of. All right, so we've done that. We've mixed it. We're not using anything that's going to slide off. So we're actually supposed to bake this one more time for 10 minutes. So we're going to do that. I do not know how high this goes. We're about to find out. Will it go to 500? No, it only goes to 450. So I'm going to make it for 12 minutes at 450. It said 10 minutes at 500. So that's what we're going to do. And then we will put our toppings on, and then we will just put it in there for like 5 minutes. While we're waiting, since I can't make a salad, which I would prefer to do, we're going to just make a quick instant pudding. And this one happens to be sugar-free, so that's that'll be dessert for the next couple of nights. Sorry, IT guy, you're just not going to get it this time. I'll make some when you get home. I have a feeling my dogs are going to go crazy when he gets home. So, oh, white pizza. Okay. It's been years since I've had a white pizza. Now, are you talking with an Alfredo sauce or just a cream sauce, or when you say Sicilian style? What's on the white ones that you've had? So, I love your name, Survival Empire. That's great. And no, this is not going to go on the pizza. This is just for dessert for later while we're waiting for the crust to cook. We're biding our time. So for anybody who just popped in, I live in Ohio. We have some of the highest rates of cyclospora. So I'm not buying lettuce these days. I will buy some cucumbers. I've bought some tomatoes. I'm not buying lettuce. We have had like well over 4,000 cases of cyclospora. No thank you. We don't need lettuce that tears up my insides. So we're salad eaters in the summer, so my husband and I are really missing salads. All right, I got about another 20 seconds. You're supposed to stir this for 2 minutes. So instead, I'm going to make us a dessert. This is sugar-free Jell-O. It is Jell-O. So there you go. Jell-O chocolate instant pudding. So I don't have it often, but every once in a while. Summertime is when this kind of stuff tastes good to me. I used to buy their cook and serve. My mother-in-law, her favorite thing, and next month would have been her birthday, so one of her favorite things is a chocolate graham cracker crust pie. So I used to make that for her every year for her birthday. And it was funny because as much as she loved it, she couldn't eat much of it. So my sister-in-law, who absolutely loved chocolate, she wouldn't take it home because she didn't want to eat it all at one sitting. So she would leave it at my mother-in-law's and then eat the rest of it, which is fine. I mean, I absolutely do not care. But as long as somebody eats it, right? We used to do that a lot. We would make desserts and things, and then we would give them away. I do a lot of that, especially at the holidays. I make a lot of treats. I used to anyway, and I will probably this year because I'll be making them online. So, and then I give them away as gifts. Chocolate stains, get off there. So, I love these little bowls from Pampered Chef. They're just like a nice little serving size. Get my little spatula. Switch that over. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so more of a cream sauce or ricotta type sauce, but not Alfredo. Exactly, that's what I thought. We do not have a huge Italian population here. We have some, but not huge. We have a lot more Greeks here than we have Italians. So I'm gonna do something here real quick because that's pathetic. So I'm just gonna take a little bit out of each one, just to even it up a bit before it gets too set, because it gets soft set in about 5 minutes. So there we go. All right. There we go. Fill this one up with water. Another thing I'm using today, I can put in the dishwasher, so yay for that. Okay. Fill that up. I'm going to grab some lids for this, and I'll be right back. And about that time, nope, not quite, but okay. I forgot to grab out the lids. I thought I was really under control, had it all together today. Best laid plans, as they say. So, Okay, so today's my last day of the week for being on. Well, Joan, I agree with you. That's not what my husband's family eats it with. They eat it with the stuff in the blue bowl. And there's an ongoing battle in my family over the blue bowl versus the real stuff. So, alright, I'm gonna go pop these in the fridge. So, I have no idea what that means. Stop girl talk. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna pop these in my fridge, so you're just gonna have to listen to me off camera for just a couple of minutes while I do that. I might have to play a little bit of refrigerator TikTok Tetris here, because about this time of the week, I have a rather full refrigerator, and then for the next few days, we eat up all the leftovers. That's kind of how it goes around here. So there's that. I'm gonna need those in a minute. So, hey Ruby, good to see ya. We are in the middle of making our chicken crust pizza. We had to dry out the chicken first, so we did that. And then we mixed in some Parmesan cheese and an egg and spread that out. We're cooking it again. Then we're gonna put on our toppings, and that'll just take about 5 minutes to warm everything up. So, hey, best brother, Missouri, what part? My daughter-in-law's from Missouri. What part are you from? She lived in Springfield and Cape Girardeau. She now lives in Ohio. But she was born, I believe, in Springfield, and then lived in Cape Girardeau for a while. So, all right, so. So Ruby, tell us, what's your favorite pizza topping? We were talking about that earlier. I like a lot of things. I would eat, meat lovers used to be my favorite, but since I'm watching cholesterol and things like that, don't get that as much as I used to. Plus, can't eat regular pizza. So most of the time, most gluten-free pizzas, some of them have 3 meat on them, but most of them are cheese. So, and some of them aren't bad, believe it or not. Some of them are pretty good. So at least I've got that. Also, is it neat? I forget the name of the company, but there's one that's got really, really good gluten-free garlic bread, and then 5-cheese garlic bread. So that's also something I used to do when my kids were little, is we would take garlic bread slices and we would put this kind of pizza sauce on it, and then they could put cheese or whatever they wanted on it, and they always thought that was a fun night to be able to eat that kind of pizza. So yeah, the blue bowl. The dreaded blue bowl. Oh, there you go. She's a supreme gal. I don't mind supreme as long as I can take off the green peppers. If I can take off the green peppers, we get along just fine. But and as long as it's not super spicy. So, but that's where my husband and I can. I'm like, as long as you don't get anything spicy on it, I'll be fine. But it's got to be a gluten-free crust for me, obviously. Turn this on and see how we're doing. Yep, looks like it's getting dried out, so that's good. Getting a little crusty, if you will. So that's fantastic. There you go. That works for me. We would do that for sure in this house. My husband would think that was like nirvana to use garlic breads for burgers. Oh yeah, he'd think that was awesome. Yeah, the only thing I could probably do to make the French onion meatloaf, other than putting more onions in it the other day, was to add more garlic. as my husband says, we're a no vampire house. But, yeah, I like that idea for the grilled burgers. I know people who've actually, for gluten free, that they've used plain waffles for, like, instead of, because you can't get good buns, and the waffles are actually better than the buns. So, alright, so after our second go around, yep, that's pretty sturdy. That's what our crust looks like. So I'm going to get out a spoon and put some sauce on there. And as you know, for my other half, it's all about the sauce, he says. But I don't want to over sauce it too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a thin sauce, and then I'll give him his own sauce he can dip in. So, which I'm sure he will appreciate. So, now I just got to remember which side is his and which side is mine. So, you know what? I'm going to put a dot of sauce, and that's my side. Got to do it somehow, right? So, I'm going to give him his banana peppers. Oh, that's enough out of you. My big bad guard dog. He stands about that high. So he and the bunnies in the neighborhood have kind of a standoff going on right now. He hates them. And the new ones aren't bad, but we had one, he was just rude. He knew that the dog couldn't get to him. But I believe that, messy but worth it. So, alright, we're gonna pepperoni his up. Give him lots of pepperoni. And again, this is turkey pepperoni, so it's, if you're looking at it going, what's wrong with our pepperoni, if you're not used to this kind of pepperoni. Oh, and then on my side, I'm going to make sure I get my basil on there, out of my garden. So, I love having fresh herbs to grab. I think I told you guys yesterday I planted some more parsley because I love being able to do that. And I've got a little greenhouse, so I'm just going to put a few pieces of pepperoni on my side. It's turkey pepperoni, but it's still pepperoni, so there's a lot of fat in it. And I'm trying to avoid another medication, so working on pulling those triglycerides down a bit. And then I have olives for me. He's not much of an olive fan, so I'm going to go ahead and I might have made too many. I don't care. Alright, I'll eat those as a snack. And then good old Mott's. Yes, pre-shredded because I just don't have the time. I guess I do have the time, but I'm not taking the time right now. Some things, so. Hi Donovan, welcome in. So, I wonder where our Christy is today. She misses Thursdays on occasion, so she might have something going on. Anyway, but we're going to put some beautiful mozzarella down. And then, okay, so we're going to put that in for about another 5 minutes. Yeah, let's do 6, just for fun. Just for funsies. Okay. Does anybody make homemade pizza? I used to. Again, when my kids were little, they liked doing that stuff. And it was something like on a rainy day, it would keep them busy. So we would make bread, we would make pizza dough, stuff like that. Once I had 3, it was a little harder, but we made cookies, we would make Rice Krispie treats. all the things. Yes. Yes, Todd. I love the UGG glove. It might be one of my favorite kitchen items that I have. I don't know why I keep going to put these away. I'm going to need them again. Goofball. That kind of day. I'm looking forward to having the weekend, to be honest with you. Last weekend was a whirlwind between the grandkids being here and then going to my uncle's funeral. And then we hit the ground running. I've been a day off all week because we came back on Monday. I kept thinking Tuesday was Monday, and so I'm looking forward to the weekend to reset. Get my brain reset and ready for next week. Speaking of which, next week is Copycat Week. I'm kind of looking forward to this. I found 4 recipes that I'm kind of excited to make. I'm very excited. Let's see. Monday, we're going to do a Copycat. Monday's a Copycat Chipotle bowl. Tuesday is Copycat Whoppers from Burger King, which, be mad at me if you want, but the Burger King Whopper is my favorite fast food burger, hands down. So I'm excited to make that. And then Wednesday is Copycat Chick-fil-A nuggets. And Thursday, if you are, we used to go to Outback a lot. And my favorite soup from Outback was a creamy onion soup that they made. And then it was gone. And it was no longer on the menu. They no longer offered it. Made me mad. Well, I found a really good recipe for it. And we're going to adapt it to make it gluten free. And I am really looking forward to making that on Thursday. So, yes, you know what? I tell people all the time, I wish I could have you all over for dinner, because I have a saying that if I love you, I will cook for you. So if I've ever cooked for you, know that I love you. So that is a thing with me. Which is why, of all things that I was going to do online, is going to be this, because to me, this is love. Cooking is about love, and I really enjoy it. I'm excited about creating the menus every week and what we're going to cook together. I'm excited in September. We're actually going to call it Souptember. Thank you, IT guy, for that name. Yeah, that's awesome, Todd. I love that. But we're going to do Souptember, so we're going to do soup every day for the month of September, all different kinds. I will tell you, I will probably not attempt anything with seafood in it, because I've only been successful at it one time. And I made a cioppino one time, and not with the shellfish. I left the shellfish out, but it turned out okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. So, nice. Well, Joan, it may not be lazy, just tired. I think a lot of people are tired, and I know you got a lot on your plate. So yeah, I think when people have a lot on their plate, they think they're being lazy, when it's like, look, you're just exhausted. You're emotionally exhausted. We have a family situation where somebody we really care about is very ill, and she's very young. And not very young, she's young. And it is exhausting. You're tired all the time. And some people take solace in just doing the normal things. I know my cousin and her husband, the one that just lost their father, my uncle, they're rehabbing a house. Their daughter's taking a gap year. She just graduated from high school, and they're rehabbing a house. And the day after he passed, they were working on the house, and she was like, I just find solace in this, you know, and doing something just normal. Because what am I going to do? Sit around and be sad? This helps me process. And so I thought that was really cool that she was able to access that. And I cook. So I cook when I'm happy. I cook when I'm sad. So that's why I have to share, because I always say I don't look like this because I'm a bad cook. You know, if I was a bad cook, I'd be skinny. So there we go. Isn't that pretty? We got the red, white, and green like the Italian flag, right? Ouch. So I am going to grab my pizza cutter and my spatula. So go right down the middle here so that I don't get Mr. 513 stuff and he doesn't get mine. I'm going to make these small because I'm not sure these are going to be super crisp. Because honestly, I probably could have cooked everything a little bit longer than I did. But, you know, I kind of wanted it to move along too. If I thought about it, I probably should have cooked one ahead and then cooked one while we were chatting and all. So, yeah, it's not... Again, if I had gone longer, it might, but I don't even think if I leave it sit, I might be able to pick it up, but, art apostrophe? Oh, an apostrophe? Next to the L, usually, is where your apostrophe is, next to your quotes, so, all right, so here we go. Let's see if this crust is any good. I'm going to try it with all the goodies. And I have heard with a lot of these that it says rather than leave the little edge, although this one said you can leave the edge. A lot of them, when they're gluten-free or they're chicken or whatever, they'll tell you to take the toppings all the way to the edge so you don't burn it. So this didn't get burnt at all. So I'm just going to... It's really hot. Okay, now you can see the bottom of the crust, so it's not like super done. But with the toppings on it, here. If you have any young kids or grandkids, it always reminds me of Blue's Clues. All right, come on outside, you goobers. So let them go out and bark at the mailman, and they will. So yeah, you get that taste of chicken a little bit. So this is when we need that, you know, from Star Trek. We need the food replicator, right? So we can replicate things. So again, like there's the bottom of it. It actually, I think if I cooked it a little bit longer and gave it a nice little chance to crisp up, it would be better. But I'm not mad about this. I will eat. This will be dinner. I will be happy about that. Even if my olives do keep taking a dive. It's not always physically tired either, so I get that. So yeah, if you're in a spot where you can't eat gluten, or you want to make a quick pizza, and you don't want to take the time to make the dough, this isn't bad. I've got a can of chicken. It was a half a cup of, I use this, you could use regular Parmesan, and 1 egg. That was all it took for and then you just dry out the chicken in the oven for about 10-15 minutes. Then you mix everything up, put it back in for another 10 minutes, I would probably go, again, this cooks a little low. I can't go to 500. And that's what it said, to do it at 500. So I couldn't do that. In my oven I could, but not in that. So, but yeah, this actually, it's not bad at all, to be honest. So I'm pretty excited about that. So anyway, and then a little later I will have some pudding. Woohoo! With real whipped cream. Because that's what I like. Again, the husband, if there's some in there, I don't think there is anymore, but if there still is, he'll be having this stuff out of the blue bowl. So, that's all I got for today. Remember, next week is Copycat Week. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We would love to have you come along with us. Monday is a Chipotle Copycat Bowl, so I will see you then, guys, for the weekend. I hope you have a wonderfully whether it's going to be fun, relaxing, whatever you're looking to do this weekend. I hope it's wonderful. Remember to eat well, to be well, and I love you guys. I'll see you on Monday.